Hello and greetings from Iceland, but it's been a while since my last volcano update, for the simple reason that things have been cooling down, but we know that it won't last. So let's take a look at what Mother Nature might throw at us next time, apart from the storm this weekend, and start on Vatnajökull Glacier, or where the next eruption might occur, in Grímsvötn. So I made this time-lapse today, or earthquake plot, covering the last 40 days, and our experts have been saying for 2-3 years now that eruption is imminent, and you can see it through my older updates that false alarms have been quite common, or earthquake spikes turning into nothing. But what I have noticed recently is more continuous unrest, something that I haven't seen before for some time. This could of course fade out, but as it looks now, it seems to be growing, so we do have a good reason to keep an eye on that. And if Grímsvötn will erupt, it is a terrible location for sightseeing, and this will be nothing like the usual tourist eruptions. The caldera is 50 kilometers away from the next road, so it's no place for Toyota Yaris, but as usual there will be tourists trying, so it's good to know that the best pictures might be shot from far away with a zoom lens, but I am thinking about the ash cloud and the lightnings that follow, and we don't want to be near when that goes on. Like this satellite image shows the ash plume from the last Grímsvötn eruption in 2011. 900 flights were cancelled in Europe due to this ash cloud, which is actually not much, so we got lucky that time. And a few months after the eruption came to an end, this is how it looked up there, or something quite different. So this is what awaits us there, sooner or later. But let's move over to the Reykjanes Peninsula, and I have a time-lapse from there as well, covering the last 40 days or so. And this is not very scientific, of course. It's just me trying to see if there are any new trends. But overall, things remain pretty much as between those other seismic chapters we have had, and come like every 3-4 months, or way more activity than before the Reykjanes Peninsula started all this mess, telling us again that the scientists seem to have got it right when they told us that this activity on the peninsula would go on for the next 100-200 years. And as we look at the time-lapse and focus on the westernmost part of the peninsula, we see that it's nothing new there. Occasionally we see offshore earthquakes, just reminding us about the fact that we could get an undersea eruption there. That is perhaps the worst case scenario. So I have nothing more to say about this, and let's move to Fagradalsfjall, where we had the 2 eruptions so far. And there is still some movement in the dike that fed the eruptions, but what I see as a bit odd are those earthquakes east from the dike. And I have mentioned this trend before. The ultra-short version of that story is that magma intrusion was detected around here early this year, but we don't get many earthquakes there. We have to go a bit further up north. That's where the action is, and it covers a quite large area. And those earthquakes were explained as a result from changes in tension due to the magma dike. But I don't see that explanation hold much longer. There is nothing going on in the dike. So my question is, can it be that this is simply a magma intrusion that maintains this persistent seismic activity, and does it originate from the same dike that fed the eruption? And I think it's a good question, because when we look at the earthquake plot, let the earthquakes accumulate into this picture for the last 40 days, we can see a lot of earthquakes between the dike and this new suspicious location. So let's have some fun with this and swap to sightseeing mode with this extremely good picture in very high resolution, shot from high up. And this landscape is really something. This photo tells it all. And I will show you more of this later on. This is not the only photo I'm processing, and they will be very useful for my upcoming work. And for fun, notice this place here. But I shot some photos there the other day, facing the city, and this is how brutally close the city is to those forces there. So let's check the time-lapse once again, further east. And I see some earthquakes in the so-called Blue Mountains. That's unusual, but not a surprise though. But let's close this boring map view so we can take a look at another wide photo covering this whole area, shot from just around here. This is the thickest landmass on the peninsula, and it is on this line here where everything is locked and loaded, or where we get earthquakes up to magnitude 6, even 6.5 every 50 years or so. But I do, however, think that the earthquake action that we have seen before those two eruptions would have triggered the large one if we are getting closer to it. But again, this is just one of the risks, keeping our experts busy. And this is also one of the places where our experts expect an eruption during this long chapter of unrest. And there are some mighty powerful volcanoes up there, or sealed volcano formations at different stages. And lava from these mountains have flowed all the way through the land where Reykjavík is now. But I will cover that better in another story. So today I can't say that things are shaky, but underlying it's a whole lot going on. And we never know what tomorrow brings. And I have the feeling that it won't be long until my next update. But until then, I want to remind you about my first episode about our capital Reykjavík. But I will have to cover it in 8 episodes in total, or all municipalities and towns within the Reykjavík area. And in fact, I have actually too many videos lined up that I want to do. So I have been using the last 2 weeks to learn to work this new software for editing and planning my channel into the future. And I will talk more about that soon. But my next video might, however, be about the weather here in Iceland. We have a storm on the way, but I think we are well prepared now. Or at least I hope so. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the volcano island, Iceland.